Good morning, friends. Today's story is called Our Tree Named Steve. Have you ever had a tree in your yard that had a name that was important to you? Let's see why this one has a name. Dear kids, a long time ago when you were little, Mom and I took you to where we wanted to build a house for us to live in. But in order to build there, men had to come and clear the land. You see, it's just a bunch of woods right now. There's nowhere to put a house. I remember there was one tree, however, that the three of you couldn't stop staring at. Adam thought it was crying. Lindsay said it looked nervous. And Sari, who was only 2 years old, couldn't pronounce the word tree, so she called it Steve. That's where that name came from. I love you, Steve, she kept saying. And then Adam and Lindsay started saying it. And before long, Mom and I got the hint and asked the builder to save Steve. See how big that tree is? It's a very large tree. It's bigger than all the rest. The day we moved in, Steve was there to greet us. You see him carrying in all their stuff? The workers are helping them move in all their stuff. Steve is big. He's almost as big as the house. It must be a really old tree. He quickly worked his way into our lives as a swing holder, a target, a third base, a hiding place, even a jump rope turner. Look at him, he's playing jump rope with a little girl, and he's got a swing hanging there. And whenever the dryer broke down, he even held our underwear with pride. Look at there, she's hung all the clothes up on him. They're going to dry in the wind. Yes, right there in the center of our yard, this weird-looking tree grew to become the center of our outdoor life. Through all of the barbecues, the campouts, the dance parties. You see them camping? Have you ever camped out outside in your backyard? What about dancing? Do you dance in your yard? We do those things at my house. And it wasn't always easy, standing tall through the snowstorms in the winter. We don't get snow like that here, but I sure do wish we did sometimes. Look at the doggies out there playing in the snow. Or when Uncle Chester napped in the hammock, couldn't possibly have been fun. Not to mention the time the sewer overflowed and Steve sucked up all the smelling water before it drowned Kirby. Ooh-wee, you know that stunk of sewage. That's where all the stuff that goes down your toilet ends up. Sometimes it leaks and backs up in your yard. Look at that poor dog. He don't want to get in that mess. He would be a stinky dog. And then Steve got sick himself. And the tree doctor had to come give him a haircut that made him look like a big thumb. He gave him a look at all those branches that he had to cut off of Steve. Made him look like a big thumb. Can you hold up your thumb? Is that what that tree looks like? Do you think it looks like your thumb? Through the years, Mom and I have tried to show you in a world filled with strangers that peace that comes with having the things that you can count on and a safe place to return to after a hard day or a long trip. Which brings me to the point of this letter. Last week, a storm came. See, they're taking pictures in front of Steve with the big camera. And he said a storm came. We had a storm that came through here last week, too. I hope that your house didn't have any damage. And though we spared Steve's life a long time ago, this time we could not save him. What happened to Steve? See him? He fell over. The wind knocked him over. It was so strong, and now he's all splintered. Do you think that they'd be able to fix him? Don't know. Are we sad? We sure are. But even in his final moments, when he could have fallen on our house, or Sari's swing, or Kirby's house, or Mom's garden, Steve performed his last trick, and he protected all of us to the very end. And friends like this are hard to find. So he fell down. They couldn't fix him. But when he fell, he made sure that he didn't hit the house, or the dog's house, or Mom's garden. So when you come home from Grandma's next week, Steve will not be able to greet you as he's done in the past. I am so sorry. But please know that Steve will always be with us in our hearts and in our thoughts. and in a different tree at the other end of our yard. So we'll see you next week. Love, Dad. Oh, look, there's another tree on the other end of the yard. So that's where Steve was. But farther back, they built a tree house in the tree. So when the boys and girls get back from their grandparents' house, they're going to find out that Steve's not there anymore. But there's another tree at the other end. I wonder if that tree came from a seed that fell off of Steve. I don't know. That would be worth finding out. And they have their picture right here of Steve. Remember when they were taking the picture with the big camera earlier in the book? I hope you enjoyed our story today. We'll see you next time.